Often I'm asked, what does mindfulness mean? What is the definition of mindfulness? And it can't truly be defined because mindfulness is a way of being. It's non-conceptual. But we have definitions to point us in a direction to have an experience. So one of the many, many definitions is mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present moment. So you're choosing to pay attention intentionally, but it also includes kindness, curiosity, non-judgment. So it's also how you pay attention that's really important to whatever's happening, the good, the bad, the ugly. Some people say that mindfulness is really about seeing clearly. It's about awareness. What mindfulness is not is it's not being distracted, it's not being scattered, it's not living in the past or the future. And you might recognize in your own life that you might spend a lot of it pre-living or reliving your life, and you really miss out on what's actually happening in the moment. So, as I mentioned, it's non-conceptual. So I'll give you an experience of mindfulness with something you do every day, mindful eating. And Ritika is going to come do this with me. Yeah, come sit down. So we're going to be paying attention on purpose to what we're eating with this, just really curious about it. And because it's non-conceptual, what might help is to imagine that you're an alien come down to Earth and you've never ever seen this object before. You have no concept. Yeah? It's the first time. Okay. So everybody's been asked to bring a small piece of food. And I have raisins, but I'm not going to use that word anymore. So just placing the raisin between your thumb and finger. Yep. And I'll guide you through this. And when we're being mindful, we're just having the direct experience. Yeah? Okay, so taking a close look at this object, noticing the color, the shape, the strange maybe designs on it. You might notice how when you turn it, it reflects in different ways. Also notice the texture. Hard, soft, warm, cool, squishy, or not. And then taking it up to your nose. And you might want to close your eyes for this. So taking in the scent. And if your mind wanders off into memory, just notice and bring it right back to smelling this object. And then taking it and just maybe rubbing the lower lip with this object. Maybe something's happening in your mouth, like saliva or not. And then placing it in your mouth on your tongue. And not chewing yet. You can let it roll around on your tongue. And notice if there's a taste or not yet. And then taking it between two teeth and taking a very slow bite. And continue to eat slowly. Noticing if the taste changes or stays the same. And you might notice also how the tongue and the teeth are doing a little dance. The tongue is always pushing the food towards the teeth, but not getting bitten. And the next time you swallow, you might notice what that feels like. And when you finish, you might notice an aftertaste. So, what was that like? What did you notice?
That each step was a different taste to it.
Okay, so the taste changed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice anything with the smell, texture, what it looked like?
Yeah, it got back like some memories,
Mm-hmm.
you see, because I've eaten raisins before. And yeah, when you look at it without thinking that it's raisin, it looks like a rock.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you touch it, it doesn't feel like a rock
Yeah.
because it's softer.
When you usually eat small pieces of food, how do you usually eat?
Fast.
Fast, yeah. Like, yeah. And the reason we use something so small for this practice is in something so small, we can experience so much. But usually we're just going through the motions, living our life, and we're missing out. So one of the reasons we do this practice is to give you that non-conceptual experience of dropping below thoughts and really getting into the senses and everything. So when we become more mindful, we start to notice how what we pay attention to and how we pay attention to it has a huge influence on our mental health and well-being. And we find that we spend a lot of time in the thinking mode, thinking, analyzing, judging, and it's a good mode to be in if you're working or if you're studying. But if you're in this mode too long, too often, it can lead to a lot of anxiety and stress, even lead to depression, and it's exhausting. So what mindfulness does is it allows us to shift into the sensing mode, where we really can savor the richness of life. And it allows us to take a break from being lost in that monkey mode mind. And it's where we can train our attention to be more present, so we don't have so many of those autopilot moments. I just want to mention a little bit about the brain research. If you Google benefits of mindfulness, the list is just laughably long. It's so long how it's helpful on the mental, physical, emotional scale. But the good thing is that the brain research encourages people to give it a go. Mm-hmm. But what helps people stay with the practice is they start noticing how it's making a big difference in their own life. And so the next few sessions of this course will be introducing you to different ways of being mindful. Mm-hmm. And you'll find out what works with you and what doesn't. What works, take it on. What doesn't, you can let go of.
Okay.